This is Alan with Tune Army Baltimore. A Gunner and a Toffee walk into a bar.
Oh, shit, they
decided
scored.
to do a shit football podcast.
You're
listening to the DU football show.
And again. Yeah, somebody had an offensive explosion this weekend.
Yes, they did.
You know?
Some sort of explosion, that's for sure.
I think there's a wise Italian who's recovering from surgery right now going, yep, 100% right. I was fucking right. Everything I said was true. I'm right. And let's start the fucking show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Smell the Malört. Looks great in shorts. Sam Grammy.
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to the DU Football Show, a completely biased recap of the English Premier League as told by two common American schmucks. I'm your host, Sam Houston, and across the way from me, the smoothest motherfucker on the planet, next to Alan, of course, who gives great intros, Samuel Graham. You didn't think I was going to give you a nice introduction?
No, of course not.
That's how I bring you in and knock you down.
Yeah.
Just like we were talking about stupid like your father a few moments ago.
Exactly
Gotta
right.
make you feel good and then go, no, man, you're worthless.
It's a compliment sandwich.
Yep.
So I
of
wonder
course
what
it
you're going
is.
to finish with.
So you're doing a really good job, Graham. Really good job. I want you to keep up the hard work. Your dedication is great, Mr.
Thank
Graham.
you.
I appreciate it.
I've worked all weekend right up until literally the start of the show.
Well,
See?
you know, that's why we have this moving rotation of when the fuck we start each week is Lord Graham and his lovely territory.
There's a lot going on out there.
We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out on all podcast platforms. Please be sure to rate, subscribe, review, and share with a footballing friend. Should you want to chat with us, there is many ways that you can. Mr. Graham, tell the good people how they can get in touch.
Absolutely. It is at DU Football Show on all the social medias and dufootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch via email.
I love it. All right. Well, you know, I got to say, we did the second show of the Naptown Blues pod.
Yes.
And we're going to have the Ben K interview up soon. We just got a few technical things we got to take care of real quick, and that'll be up as well. So
Awesome.
and
That's
yeah.
the one where I very elegantly hit the post in the intro for.
yeah. Except for she couldn't find that intro, so I had to do another intro for you.
Fuck off.
Sam and myself both work in the wine and spirit industry and both have a deep, passionate love for all things distilled spirits. So as the red-blooded Americans we are, we've got to have a drink in our hand throughout this show and every single show. Good timing that this list is almost done, considering Mr. Houston going to have to come back on the drinking because the old ticker no works so well. Mr. Graham, it's the 5th Irish whiskey. Let's talk about it.
Yes, it is. Number 2 on this year's list. Also, what I imagine to be the state of your body after the surgery.
Redbreast.
You have an old Redbreast there.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, so it's a Redbreast single pot still Kentucky Oak Edition Irish whiskey. It is 101 proof, which is interesting. $95 this should run you on the shelf. It got a 96 from the tasting panel, and your blurb comes to you from a Mr. Johnny McCormick. Redbreast new series champions the influence of American oak from various parts of the United States, leaning less heavily on its signature sherry style. For the first U.S. exclusive, Irish distillers worked with the Taylor family, renowned for their sustainable forestry practices, to select oaks from the Elk Cave Farm in Gravel Switch, Kentucky. The virgin oak cask finished single pot still whiskey amplifies flavors of sliced almond, creamy vanilla, cinder toffee. What's happening to you all right now?
Thanks.
Red fruits and oak spice, drawing inspiration from techniques developed with Irish oak from Middleton's Dare Gaich.
You're the one that claims to be Irish. You got it.
Yeah, even the Irish don't speak fucking Irish anymore.
You know what that translates as?
Gaelic?
Craig.
Yeah. Series. while being bottled at 101 proof to pay homage to the bluegrass state. There you go.
Very cool.
Interesting little
Turkey famously bottled at 101 as well.
interesting little tidbits.
It is a fucking lovely whiskey, and we've had a lot of Irish, and gotta say I think this is deservedly the highest listed one. It's really fucking good.
Toffee comes through big on the nose.
Yeah. Now remember
big vanilla there too as well.
Just for a friendly reminder, we already did a pot still earlier with the Teeling pot still, which was the Wonders of the World, which was a virgin oak, also an American white oak version. This is good. I mean, that one was good. This is way better. And that one was very good. But a pot still is a use of at least 70% barley. And then the rest can be another grain spirit, typically corn or wheat, that they blend in. After that, it has to be distilled through a pot still only. It can't use any continuous still. So close to a single malt, because a single malt would be 100% barley, but also expensive to do, takes a long time to produce.
Yep.
So pot still is kind of the get out of jail free way of doing that. And that's become a very popular style of a lot of Irish whiskey distilleries who are finally making whiskey again. Yes, Mrs. Houston.
Taylor Thompson, you might know him from Cartanzas.
Long time, first time, long time, yeah.
Uncle of the meth deer woman.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
he wants to know if you guys have a take on Five Trails. That is Core's entry into the whiskey space.
I have not had it yet, and
Neither
I
have
haven't
I.
even seen it, to be honest. Is this, real quick, Taylor, is this the same whiskey that you just recently purchased? I saw you had bought a new bottle of whiskey while you were watching, shocker, Robert Earl Keen videos.
He might have an obsession.
I'll tell you what. I ain't drinking if it's got a goddamn rainbow on it.
No, that's Bud
So-
Light whiskeys.
So get us the answer to that. This is
Negative.
negative. Okay, that wasn't that one. No, I don't know. I haven't seen
had
it
it.
yet.
I haven't seen it here yet either.
You, Taylor, you have personally seen my closet. It's a touch out of hand right now. So what we've been doing is my personal vow has been, unless it's the stuff for the top 20, I have not cracked a new bottle of whiskey or bought a new bottle of whiskey. I'm making a bunch of the 1/4 half bottles go away. And I'm also cutting back on the drinking right now. So it's taking a little
Yeah,
while.
so it may, he may have to source that opinion from elsewhere because
When-
he says he saw it but didn't want to get it without more info.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know anything about
In
it.
all likelihood, they're probably sourcing it from somebody, and so it's probably fine. I mean, that's probably what it probably, if they're
It's
getting it from
fine,
MGP, it's gonna be good bourbon. It's
Yeah.
just, it's okay.
It's just regular.
Right.
Yeah, more than likely.
Right. So,
So like Arsenal's gameplay lately, it's fine.
not wrong. Not wrong.
Happy St. Totteringham's Day to you too.
How do you like the whiskey, Mr. Graham?
I really like it, actually. It is a lot more vanilla on the flavor as opposed to toffee, which comes through for me more on the nose. So it is a big vanilla bomb, but you would expect that from virgin Kentucky oak.
Yeah.
But it's delicious. It is quite fucking good.
I like it the more that the ice opens it up.
Yeah, this very much tastes to me if Irish whiskey made a bourbon. Is what I really because there's obviously a little bit of that neutral grain. It's not all barley, so it doesn't have all that kind of cereal graininess to it that barley whiskeys have. That little bit of neutral whiskey kind of softens it out a little bit. The new oak absolutely brings, like you said, that vanilla caramel thing that is synonymous to anything that sees new American white oak. But this tastes like to me if Irish whiskey made a bourbon.
Yeah,
and
that's
really
a great
fucking
description.
good. It's
Yeah.
really,
It's
really fucking
You know
good.
what it could be too. I mean, the price is a bit much for it to be a gateway. But remember what we talked about, that Glenfiddich 14-year-old single malt that was used bourbon and then new American oak barrels were on the finish.
Yep.
Where that would be a way for a bourbon drinker to start to enter the Scotch category. I feel the same way about this in the Irish category.
Yeah.
This is a great bridge. Problem is, $100 is a difficult bridge to
So taking
afford.
all 5 of the Irish whiskeys we had, and I'll give you my opinion first and then let you give your thoughts on it as well. Taking all 5 of them, incorporating price and availability, right?
Right.
Along with obviously overall flavor and profile of the whiskey. Of the 5, I would say Bushmills 12 was my favorite because it's also real fuck affordable and really easy to find.
Yep.
I would say this is definitely number 2, and then the Middleton is number 3, simply because the Middleton's so fucking hard to find.
Yeah.
The Limavady, nothing against it, but I'd put it at 4 and I'd put the Teeling at 5 for me.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that, to be honest with you. I mean, in terms of fulfilling the list and it's what it's supposed to be, flavor profile, I think you're spot on in that order.
Yeah.
But Middleton should be number 5 just because of how fucking difficult it is to get.
It's impossible to get.
And it's not the right way that it's not what this list is meant to be, and that's frustrating.
Yeah, the
Because
Bushmills
it's
12
also fucking expensive.
the Bushmills 12 epitomizes what this list
Exactly.
should be. Oh, by
This-
the way, here's one you would never find that's really fucking good.
Right, and this one, same thing.
Yeah, you can find this whiskey.
Yeah.
This, not everybody's gonna carry it just because it's an expensive whiskey, but if they've got a decent whiskey portfolio, Irish whiskey portfolio,
Yep.
and they already carry multiple marks of Redbreast, you'll probably see this one on the shelf. And I got it at LAX, so I got it at like a really good,
Is it a liter?
No, it's a 750.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. Oh,
A lot of the travel market does liters. That's why I wondered.
no, LAX Beltsville, the store.
Oh, lax.
Yeah, Lax.
I
Yeah.
thought you had a connector to get to your meeting or something.
No. Although rumor is we are going to be in SoCal for our team sales
And why wouldn't
meeting, because apparently it's a focus market right now. I'd rather be in Portland eating French fries.
Right.
So what else? What else are you supposed to do, Mr. Graham?
Probably not eat French fries in your condition.
Yeah, exactly. But they're really good French fries.
Always remember to drink responsibly, especially if you have a cardiology appointment coming up.
Yeah, precisely. All right, let's get into it. We start with 2 massive rivals, each having massive disappointments this weekend. The only solace either one can take is the other's demise. Arsenal 3, Southampton 3, Newcastle 6, Tottenham 1. Saints shock the Gunners early and go up by 2, and they go up by 2 twice.
Yeah, obviously the individual errors are not great.
Yeah.
Not great at all. It's pretty sad. Hey, Mel, what time's on the clock right now? Because I need to deflect. What do we got here?
We are about 12 minutes in.
Tottenham's 3-0 down at this point.
Okay, very good. This is why I put these two together, because the only thing either one of you have to hold on to, because I guarantee you Mark, is he's listening to us talk about this, is going, well, at least
just gave the title away.
At least Arsenal's giving the fucking title away. This is all you have to hold on to is each
I know.
other's demise.
It's really annoying because it's been such a great season, and it took me a long time, and you know this, and everybody
Yeah.
listening knows this, because it took me a long time to really get behind this title challenge. I refused to accept that we were doing it, and it's like 3 weeks after I finally accepted that we had the real possibility of doing it, we decided to fuck it off and draw 3 games in a row
Exactly.
against lesser opposition.
Yeah.
In at least 2 of those cases, the other one was a fucking refereeing decision that was a piece of shit, and we lost to you at the time, the worst team in the fucking league.
Yeah.
So it's really frustrating that is happening. In this game in particular, there was obviously some individual errors. Ramsdale's shocker pass right up the gut that got a very weak pass as well, got intercepted, no surprise. And
England's number 2, by the way.
and really it was a good finish.
Not England's number 1.
What? Yeah, now. Yeah, he's going back to number 2. But it's naive. At this stage of the season, to be turning in the performances they have over the last couple of weeks is naive.
And
It's just not good.
It took the death. It took 2 at the death, literally 2 minutes apart.
And we hit the bar. We could have won
Yeah.
the game.
Oh yeah, you almost pulled a Bournemouth. You almost
And
pulled it off.
we had a lot of chances.
Yeah,
We did have a ton of chances. When besides their 3 goals, they didn't really create a ton.
No.
I think Ramsdale made 2 other saves.
Well, they also sat back purposely. They were waiting to see
Yeah.
if you were out of. I mean, that's how Wolcott scored his goal. Was
To be fair
because
to him,
you
didn't
guys-
celebrate.
Yeah. Oh no, he just.
It was respectful.
Yep. Of course he would have been.
But it's a pain that it's a former Gunner that kind of really damages the the old titles.
Yes,
shot.
sometimes there's going to be things shown to me, and you just keep talking. It's called professionalism.
I know, but that's not it. I'm just disappointed. It had nothing to do with that fantastic meme I was just showing that was created very quickly.
Yeah.
And shout out to who did it. Was it Taylor or was it
Christian?
It was Christian. Well done.
You knew it was by the Heart Boys.
Oh, it had to be one.
Sorry, boys. That's going to be your all strength in the
American Heart Foundation over here.
Because mine, I'm not solid on my meme games. I'm just a leader, so I'll lead the crew. But you guys are going to have to come up with the silly memes.
He's delegated the meme responsibility.
Sam, it's what a good leader does. It all comes down now to Wednesday. It's at City for the title,
win or bust.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there's a lot of games by the end of the season. City has to play Brighton in Brighton. But after their disappointment, which we'll talk about at the end of the show this weekend, you saw what happened to Newcastle after the League Cup final.
Yeah.
They went on a string of draws and a loss here or there. They had 3-4 weeks of bad results.
Right.
Is Brighton able to pick themselves up? You would hope so because they're challenging for a European place.
But yeah, go ahead.
Oh, Christian wanted to know, Arsenal, are we missing Saliba that much?
Yes.
Or is it the combination of losing Saliba and Zinchenko playing poorly suddenly?
Well, it's, not just Zinchenko, but Thomas Partey. I think he's being asked to do too much to cover.
He's covering
Saliba's
Saliba,
loss. Right? Because Rob Holding is simply not a good enough player.
And with
to cover Saliba by himself.
Who covers for Ben White on the outside?
Tomiyasu,
who's hurt, because if Tomiyasu was healthy,
could move Ben White to the
White
inside.
would be in the center.
Yep.
And I think Zinchenko, you always knew with Zinchenko, he's kind of like Alexander Arnold. He's more of an offensive defensive threat than he is a defender. So you had two really good center backs that kind of covered his ass when he would go too far up. And now Partey's having to cover that, which is leaving gaps in the middle. So there's it all those little pieces miss and hurt together.
Exactly.
And you could go Kieran Tierney out there instead of Zinchenko, but then you lose
the offensive
so much going forward.
And we saw that especially in the last game against West Ham, where Tierney tried to do the same things Zinchenko does, and it just wasn't as effective. It just simply wasn't as effective.
Well,
because he's a much more traditional up and down left back.
Right. And then if you don't have to worry about Zinchenko, suddenly a lot easier. It's Martinelli on his side, right? Or it is Martinelli.
Martinelli on that side, who gets through a lot of work, but
then you can just hone in on Martinelli and not worry about the overlap.
Exactly.
Because it's not even just an overlap. It's also Zinchenko cuts middle too. So changes it a lot, changes the dynamic of the game a lot. And all of that comes into each other. So now it's very simple. For you, it's
win or bust.
It's win.
City have 2 games in hand, obviously. We're only 4 points ahead. At the moment, 5 points ahead, whatever it is.
Oh.
So they can overtake us with their games in hand.
Yeah.
So even if we draw, we're technically you got to assume we're down a point because City are what they are, right?
Yep.
They still have to play Chelsea. They still have to play you at Goodison,
which we drew them in their building, and it also could be we gotta get a tie to stay up.
But you look at
that may be what it is.
I know, but you look at their results over the last few weeks. When it comes to the business end of the season, who's better at it than City?
They're the best.
That's the problem.
They are the best at it.
They've set this ridiculous standard. I mean, we should have been in a normal quote unquote season pre Arab money coming in and taking over Manchester City. Arsenal would be champions already.
Oh yeah, be already over.
But not anymore. That's not the standards that they have set.
Remember when Liverpool lost the league to City the year before they won it, that they had the draw at Goodison Park? That was in late February.
Yeah.
They never lost a game after that. Neither did City.
And and still didn't win the title. Exactly
right.
That.
The City literally went on 2.5 months of just not dropping any points at all.
So you got to assume that the 2 games in hand are going to be wins, right? Which means they've overtaken us. It was already going to be difficult to overtake the goal difference regardless. And it's really hard because in the context of the season of the last 5 years, this is an excellent season. Arsenal are over their hump of being shit, it seems. But we're not going to get a reward for it.
Yeah.
And then you've got these fucking cunts in Manchester in the FA Cup final again.
Yeah,
And with the chance to lift a trophy and then point and laugh at us after the whole debacle with Ronaldo, after everything going on this season.
Yeah.
It's just like our worst nightmares are coming true. And yeah, the only thing we have to hang our heads on right now is the Jordy smashing 5 pass. Mel, what time is it? Oh, does that say 20 minutes and 17 seconds? Tottenham just went 5-0 down.
Yeah. I mentioned this briefly last week, but it bears repeating. Always kind of take Tottenham's side to get the piss out of you. Mm-hmm. You always take Liverpool's side to get the piss out of me.
Yes.
It has become impossible for me to take Tottenham's side because, frankly, that was an embarrassment. If you are, quote, a Big Six side, and I know that's not based off of titles, that's based off of money, but you are a wealthy club.
Oh yeah,
you are one of the 6 wealthiest clubs in England. You are one of the 25 wealthiest clubs in the world. You are massive. That was an utter and complete embarrassment.
Oh, it's bad. It's real bad. It really is. It's everything that Antonio Conte was saying in that post-match rant all came to a head at one time. And now, by the way, I don't know if you've heard, they've sacked the interim manager. Conte's former assistant.
You know what he did? He, at the end of the game, I couldn't believe it. So now Tottenham definitely has their head in the sand like an ostrich because they fire Conte for calling him out for it. And then him and his post-presser said, I made mistakes. I didn't set up the team properly. It's on me. Mm-hmm. No, it is on the 11 fucking professional athletes you put on the field that allowed 5 goals in 20 fucking minutes. 5 that had a captain who then at halftime went, ow, I hurt. I need a sub.
Well, here's the problem. And this is, I know we harp about this and it's just because we're a certain age, right? But how many times have we talked about looking at Manchester United and looking at Arsenal of old? They've said, Roy Keane, Patrick Vieira, David Beckham, a lot of these players, Thierry Henry, they didn't even need to talk to Arsene Wenger or Sir Alex Ferguson.
No.
They were in the grill of their own team going, fucking get it together.
When you guys
going
went
5
down
hard minutes and this is what the fuck we're doing. Fuck the game plan. We're going 5 hard minutes and getting ourselves back in this. And then we'll try to settle back into whatever game plan they want.
Real quick, back to your game.
To do.
After you guys went 2-0 down, the entire team circled together at the 18 and we're fucking talking to each other.
Exactly.
We're pissing away the title. Let's get our fucking act together.
Let's get our shit together, yeah. And they still fucked up, but that's besides the point. The point is that they did it. Tottenham didn't do that at all. I mean, they weren't even done showing the replay of the goal, and Newcastle had the ball again.
For all,
it's like, how are they just they just don't give a fuck.
For all the shit we, fucking give Mank supporters, right? Roy fucking Keane would have been on at the start of the second half. Roy fucking Keane wouldn't have been on the game at the end of the game because he would have gotten a fucking red card breaking somebody's fucking kneecap.
Exactly.
He would have fucking murdered somebody.
I'm going to pull it up right now because that's an interesting point.
He would have fucking murdered somebody.
Only 3 yellows, and the one person you would have expected to try to galvanize the team, Christian Romero, a guy that's always good for a card, didn't get one until the 74th minute.
Oh, he should have gotten one early.
If he's not tackling, you got a fucking problem.
So it could have easily been 7-0 by halftime. There was one where he fouled Longstaff right in front of the 18, but the ref gave advantage because Isaac ran on to Murphy ran on to open space, but put it over the bar.
Right.
Like, that should have been a yellow. He should have gotten a yellow there, but he didn't. It was just
it's just ridiculous.
The coach falls on the sword.
The whole thing's fucking absurd. I've never seen a group of professionals just not fucking care like that.
I typically don't really care about Tottenham, whatever. I don't have the hatred for them as you do, being that they're your cross-town rival. Absolutely should be the case. I'm not denying that at all. But I have no opinion of them. I now find myself, since the Conte thing, and what their answer has been since, right? Like fucking giving up a game, giving up points to fucking Everton, just watching how they've just pissed it all away. I'm actively rooting for Tottenham to not be in Europe. I want to see Brighton, and I want to see Aston Villa and Newcastle all be in Europe, and I want to see Liverpool and Tottenham on the outside looking in. Because especially watching this, the only way you will get Daniel Levy to fucking pay attention that he needs to address his team, spend money the right way, I got a thought on that as well in a second, is they need to not get money.
Oh, yeah.
He needs to not get money. He needs to be punished and not have money.
Well,
and then have to fucking fix the problem because he goes off and
the problem gets even worse now because their sporting director or technical director, whatever this guy was, who botched all that shit at Juventus, who's under investigation, got charged with all these crimes and shit, got banned from all football related activities for a year, 2 years or something.
Yep, had to resign.
Well, he didn't have to. Because he should have done that when they fucking did it. He just put it, the ink wasn't even dry on the appeal letter. Like, I'm going to appeal this. Right? And he was still employed.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it was Sunday evening, got word that, oh, yeah, I'm actually got to step away and make sure my legal troubles are okay. So Tottenham didn't fire him.
Yeah.
They didn't come out and say anything. They were caught blindsided by somebody that was already banned from doing anything.
Right.
It's a fucking circus. It's lovely to watch, but it's a fucking circus.
I love Richarlison as a player. I think there's still opportunity for him. It is fucking the most Spursy thing ever that Daniel Levy would go make an opportunistic signing, which I don't knock him for doing. Everton had to sell. They were able to get him at a relatively cheap price at $60 million, right? Mm-hmm. For a guy who is a proven goal scorer in the Premier League and could be a difference maker.
For 3 months of the Premier League season.
It is...
flurry at the start, flurry at the end. Finish with 15.
Last year with Everton, it was pretty consistent other than when he was hurt. That was the only time, obviously, he couldn't score. And it's fitting that man has yet to score a goal in the fucking Premier League. It reeks of exactly what's wrong with Daniel Levy as a chairman.
Yeah.
More people would notice it. More people would notice it if my fucking chairman and my fucking board wasn't a complete shit show.
Now, and granted, Newcastle, with this newfound money, with some of the signings they made, everything else, Miguel Almiron coming into his own this season, didn't play. And Alan Saint-Maximin also being hurt, didn't play. So their two best wingers are out already, right? So they're a weakened Newcastle side. That's not even the best they got. And if you're letting Jacob fucking Murphy score from 30 goddamn yards and you're tree trunked, go fuck yourself. You deserve to be substituted at halftime. Yeah. And if I was Stellini, I'd have came out and said, I may have set the team up wrong, but our captain is a coward.
Yeah, the fact that he goes, oh, I'm hurt. Like,
fuck off, dude. You're not hurt.
Timmy was very slanted in his commentary after the match. He was like, I've been hurt plenty. A match like that, unless I think I'm going to be injured and go on injured reserve for that, you go out there and you deal with that shit. As a keeper, you deal with that ass whooping. Yeah. And especially couple that with the fact that the captain's armband is on your arm, you gave up on your fucking team.
But
for that, shocking.
The other piece to this, too, and we've done a lot of shitting on Spurs, which we should, because most of it was their fault, right? But Newcastle still had to take the chances. They still had to play the football to get into those positions and absolutely just fucking dominate. Everything that Arsenal should have been in the last 3 games and killing a game off, Newcastle showed the blueprint of what to do. That's how you win a fucking football match.
Yeah.
You stand on their throat and you beat them even after they're dead.
Yeah. It's that simple. But you know what?
And that's what I wished my club did in the last 3 games. Liverpool, we walked in there with a fucking swagger. They couldn't get a touch on the ball for the first 25 minutes. And then we retreated into ourselves. Right? West Ham, same. Southampton, we gave it away from the start because we were fucking jittery after the last 2 goddamn games, and we let the pressure get to us. This is how you fucking do it. Newcastle were excellent in this game. They took all their chances, and it should have been more. You're absolutely right. It could have been 7-0 at halftime. And goddamn it, if Newcastle didn't do us a solid by keeping the Kenny joke going, Newcastle had the perfect day.
Yeah.
So, you know what? At least somebody got to enjoy the feast day of St. Totteringham. At least someone got to enjoy it, and I'm happy it was the Geordie boys. Good for them.
You know, but hey, Kane scored, and really at Tottenham, that's all that matters.
I've got some closing on Daniel Levy, too, by the way, at the end of the show. It's funny.
Rounding out the rest of the league, and so that happened. Fulham 2, Leeds 1, Palace 0, Everton 0, Leicester 2, Wolves 1, Liverpool 3, Forest 2, Brentford 1, Villa 1, West Ham 4, Bournemouth 0. Fulham, 2 wins on the bounce, man, after having quite a slide. They had lost 4 in a row, couldn't seem to score any goals, but 3 against Everton, 2 against Leeds. Yeah, you're getting the right, you're getting the right teams at the right time, but fuck yeah, bouncing back, back in the top 10, ahead of Chelsea and ahead of Brentford, your 2 biggest rivals in the table. You might not make Europe, but if you can finish in 9th place and those 2 teams behind you, that's a fucking W of a season.
Well, especially when Mitro missed a month because of injury and then another month because of suspension.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's huge. It was a really weird and boring first half, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was odd.
The first half was not enjoyable. And then finally something interesting happened 12 minutes after halftime when Harry Wilson scored. Decent little goal, nothing.
2 in a row for him.
It was a good adjustment from him, though. I mean, the ball was behind him. He had to... He did really well to and kept his composure to keep that on frame.
Last time he did that was back when he was with Bournemouth back in the day.
But again, nobody was really dominating the game even after that goal. To be honest, they were still having a relatively tame go at each other, but a go at each other nonetheless, at least. And then a really lucky deflection off Pereira saw Fulham double their lead, of course. Yep. And then Leeds drew one back. But at the end of the day, of course, it was just a consolation. And Leeds, I think, Javi Gracia is somebody that we know can set up a defense. That was kind of what he was known for when he was Watford manager. They were never particularly stylish, but they were decent at the back. And they won a lot of 1-0s and took a lot of draws, and that's how Watford stayed up a few times. We're not seeing that. And no. I don't know if these people just can't recover after Bielsa just did not believe in the defense at all, or if Meslier's that bad and they just don't have any confidence in him, so they're overcompensating. There's so many issues at the back for Leeds. It's ridiculous.
Missing Tyler Adams hurts a lot too.
Big time. Yeah, their midfield is non-existent almost.
He's a safety blanket for that defense's mistakes a lot of times.
Yeah, but even with him, they found themselves in this position with him playing all season.
That's true. Very true.
So, like, what's I don't understand. I mean, at some point, you played the sport your entire lives. You're professionals, right? You get paid to do this for a living. At some point, you got to go, oi, fancy defending today. Like,
the one big positive for Leeds is that they do get that goal, because if they lose 2-0, they are then even on goal differential with Everton. And you need to keep that goal differential if you're Leeds, because Everton's going to get some points here. They're going to find points, especially when they're at home. Like, frankly, I definitely fancy them to get a draw this midweek.
Yep.
Decore's back. Onana's going to be back. DCL's healthy.
Knock on wood there. A lot of time till that game gets played.
Yeah. Oh, let's go ahead and go right into that next one. That's the big news, really, for Everton. There's, it's a 0-0 draw, but DCL plays a full fucking 90.
Yeah. And this game feels like a huge missed opportunity, though.
I would agree. I felt like the better chances sided with
Absolutely.
Everton.
And you had 5 shots on target to their 2.
Yeah.
And missing their best player, obviously, in Wolf Zaha.
Yeah.
This feels like a huge missed opportunity, and 2 points dropped, in my opinion.
I would say it definitely feels like 2 points dropped because of the Leicester result.
Yeah.
Leicester doesn't win or draws. You go, okay, well, hey, we got to point at Palace.
Yeah.
Palace has been red fucking hot without Wilf, by the way.
That's true. Yeah, fair.
But Godfrey's been mediocre at best, to the point where we didn't start him. Patterson, when he's out there, really can't defend very well, and so we finally go with option number 3 and go with Mason Holgate, and Mason Holgate gonna do what Holgate does, which is get a couple of yellows and get sent off.
Idiot. You need everyone pulling in the same direction to survive a second season in a row.
Yeah.
And this guy goes and does that.
Because that's probably what stops you from getting a late winner versus end up ultimately having to hang on for a draw.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And I'm not sure why. I'm not sure in what went through his mind and thought that was a good idea.
Yeah.
It's not like they were bearing down on goal immediately. There was no need to make the challenge.
Yeah, right. For Palace, you know what?
Stupid.
You didn't lose. You're probably safe. You got Wolves next. You should be now well on your way to safety, which is exactly why you let Vieira go, because of where you were in the table at the time. And you know what? Mission accomplished. Worry about what you're going to do next year.
Careful, George Bush.
I heard. They're
like Nixon.
Mission
accomplished.
Exactly. Mission accomplished.
The only thing is Roy's facing the other way. He's got that 180 swivel.
Yeah. So exactly, the wise old owl. The big thing for Everton was they moved Iwobi to kind of a 10 behind DCL.
I thought he played well,
and that really worked. So
I
wouldn't be surprised you start to see that moving forward.
It also allowed both McNeil and Damari Gray to be on the field at the same time, and you still had the creativity, because I thought he played some fantastic through balls, and a couple over the top that were excellent.
Yeah, I could see them.
You could tell DCL was rusty though.
Oh yeah,
you see that attempted backwards flick header from the Iwobi pass?
Yeah,
that was pitiful at best.
But he also had that turnaround that he just put wide.
That should have been a goal.
If he's going to be,
that should have been a goal.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
If he was 3-4 games from being back from injury,
that's in the net.
That's in the back of the net.
Yeah,
it's rusty. His timing's off.
Fortunately, you know what? In a couple of games, it's at Leicester, and that's when I need him to score.
But again,
as a supporter, that's when I need him to score.
But again, it's not Leicester. A loss, and that's the biggest thing. It's not a loss. You got a point on the board. You got to keep that momentum going, because West Ham, after their last few results, and then and Palace look like they're out of the conversation now.
Yeah.
So it's Forest. Now Bournemouth may be getting dragged back into it after this past week.
They still have more than a 3-point lead. I think they're on a 4-point lead from the bottom. So they have to fuck up 2 more times.
Right.
But
you got Bournemouth maybe still in it. You can argue Forest, Leicester, Leeds, and you guys.
Yep.
Because I think
and Southampton's done.
I think they're out. I think they're finished.
Southampton's dead.
Personally, I don't think they're going on a fucking run. I just can't see it.
Moving into that, we keep talking about having to win a game at home. We talked about this with Southampton last week, and not getting it against Palace. This is just that. Wolves go up early, but it's at home for Leicester. Without James Maddison, you have to find a way to win. They found a way to win. That's how you survive, is the game at home against a team that's close to you in the table. You have to find the win. And it crushes me, because my team's now in that final drop spot. Right. But for Leicester, it's precisely what you needed to accomplish.
Well, here's the other piece of that, too. Something they haven't been able to do all season is weather a storm. And until the Leicester penalty, it was all Wolves.
Oh, God, yeah, it was.
And Leicester pulled out some actual decent defending and some decent last-ditch defending specifically to be able to put themselves in a position to get this result.
Yeah.
For Wolves, conversely, scoring goals is their issue, and Leicester pounced on that, obviously. Fox pouncing, that's pretty good. Because Wolves failed to kill the game off, obviously. They don't score many goals as is.
Right.
And so, what a give,
Also, horrible fucking penalty given up by Sa.
What does he do? He should be arrested for that.
What? He just what are you thinking?
If Vardy could have walked immediately following the challenge, Jose Sa would be no longer with us. I feel like, but Vardy literally removed his ankle.
Yeah, exactly.
So he couldn't physically get up to kill him. But the Cunha's goal, what a terrible giveaway from Tielemans. Mm-hmm. He's one of the best midfielders in the league based on ability. He obviously hasn't had the best season, had a lot of injuries this season as well. It's just based on technical ability, and part of the starter for Belgium. One of the better midfielders in this league. Mm-hmm. What are you doing dwelling on the ball that close to goal?
Yeah.
Only 25 yards out. You got to receive it and give it immediately. And to take 2-3 touches and get dispossessed by Cunha.
Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. Fucking poor. Fucking poor.
It's terrible.
But for Leicester, you got the fucking 3 points. That's exactly what you needed to do in that situation. Wolves, all but safe for the most part. Like, if them and Palace tie this next weekend, this midweek, they're fine.
It's
They're
done and dusted. Yeah,
done and dusted.
But
Nothing
again,
to
if
worry
they
about.
don't, they could be dragged back into it too, depending on other results.
Exactly. That's the case. Forest tied it up twice. Forest gave everything they could, and give them the credit for fucking doing everything they could. At the end of the day, Liverpool's offense was just too much. Is really what it doesn't matter. You have Keylor Navas in the goal when you've got that many weapons just constant, and also you're playing into it as well. And it is just wave after wave after wave of attack.
Right, but they weathered that stuff relatively well. It was set pieces they couldn't figure out.
Yeah.
And then conversely, on the other side, the first time we've ever heard, and I'm sure there is a coach designated to go over these things, but Liverpool were the first team we heard of that hired a specific throw-in coach. Why they were so fucking bamboozled every time Forrest had a throw-in, I'll never understand.
Yeah.
Because you idiots hired a coach specifically for these situations, both presumably offensively and defensively.
It's like Liverpool's entire team goes, no, you're supposed to throw it short, and he kicks it right back to the throw-in guy.
I thought Rory Delap came out of retirement. They were having such problems with this fucking thing. Like, what are you guys doing here? It was absurd because that's how Forrest got both their goals. And then Brennan, to be fair to them, they had a go at it. Brennan Johnson hit the crossbar late on as well. So there were chances there for Forrest to get something out of the game. But amazing to me when the ball hasn't gone yet, how strong Salah can be under a challenge. Because he held off a center back pretty goddamn easily.
Yeah.
To get that goal. But if you're Forrest, you got to be kicking yourselves. It's these set plays. It's all 11 of you need to be switched on.
Right.
You're fighting for your fucking lives here.
Right.
And they just aren't. They just aren't switched on.
Yeah.
It's just, somebody misses an assignment.
Yeah.
Was the first one for Jota? It got headed around 3-4 times before it made its way to him. It's like, come on, man.
And of everybody left in the relegation scrap, I believe they're the ones with the toughest schedule the rest of the way. So it's like, you get an opportunity like that, you got to get the fucking point.
You got to take it.
You don't have to win. You just got to get the fucking
Get a point. It's points on the board.
Get the fucking point. Like, that's it.
So we got some correspondence.
Oh, very good. So bees.
It's about my new house.
Oh, nice.
From Russ.
Fucking
recording there, Chief.
Yeah, come on, Russ. You're HR for fuck's sake. You know what we're doing. Do we need to take HR into the HR office to fucking tell you what's going on?
We got to hire an admin for HR because
apparently we need to discuss policies and procedures with HR.
What does HR do when HR fucks up?
It's their fucking job to know what the policies and procedures are.
God bless it.
Oh my
He
goodness.
got that fancy new title at work, and now he thinks he could just text me during the show.
Yeah, apparently.
Good gracious.
Bees get a much needed point. They had been really starting to slide, and they slowed down Villa a little. But you know what? Fucking Tottenham fucked it off so bad. Villa ends up gaining a point on them in the fucking run for 5th place.
Yeah, absolutely. And really, I thought, after the last few weeks, Brentford hasn't been playing very well at all.
No.
I thought they had
haven't.
like hive aids or whatever it was you were talking about
All
the other
y'all
day.
betting on Villa fucked me. I knew that was going to happen. I'm just glad I don't have to do Malört this week.
Yeah, I mean,
You think Ivan Toney bet on himself? That's not going to die either, by the way, guys.
Yeah. But he probably also lost money because he might have also bet on Watkins to score on the road because he's been on a heater.
He's been doing it.
Damn,
he
that
might have
streak's
parlay. He
over.
might have done us and gotten greedy and done a parlay, which never fucking works. That's how it always runs.
What's the actual bee disease that could take down a hive? I called it hive AIDS.
Varroamites.
Veromites.
Yeah.
All right.
Mites.
Put that in the old file cabinet.
There you go.
9-way parlay.
That's what gets Ivan
Careful,
Toney in
Tony.
trouble every
Careful.
time. 9-way parlays.
Puts a week's wages on it.
Yep.
Terrible with money.
No, not so good. Not so good. Like I said, for Villa, you move closer. Like, okay, you've been on a roll. You really would have liked to have seen a win, I'm sure, as a Villa supporter, but it's a point, and you're getting closer to Spurs, and Spurs seem to be flat out fucking imploding.
They don't know
yeah.
what they're doing.
Yeah, they don't want to go to Europe, so we'll send them postcards. It'll be fine.
Make them feel better.
Postcards from Emery.
Yeah. Good evening. I'm
It was a
writing to
lovely
tell
evening.
you about my recent travel to Curacao.
Estonia.
How many countries can Villa fucking?
That's
We
true.
just went to Ghent. It's a very nice place.
I would call it more a...
Quite cold, though.
I wouldn't have called
Is
that
that Kent
fucking...
with a K?
No, Ghent.
Maybe...
They're like the only team in the Arctic Circle. Or no, that's Midland-Tat.
Yeah.
It's Midland-Tat. Sorry. Ghent's not in the Arctic Circle.
Maybe it was more like a nice hug. Maybe, yeah, that's what they didn't fuck this week. That's for sure. It was a nice hug.
No, they
That's
got
what
to
we'll call
first base. They got a titty grab.
it. Okay,
That's it.
Yeah, because they got a goal. That's it, a late goal. So they were
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, we were in the car, and I made my move, and I got a little over the sweater
She went
grab.
digging for worms. That's as
Yeah,
far as we got.
over sweater.
That's all we got. Not even a full out handy. Just
Oh,
just
my
went
goodness.
down there and felt it out for a second. Then her dad came up and knocked on the window.
Irons scoring for fucking fun, man. I mean, and they were easy putaways
they played
too.
Ghent, and they were
Yeah.
tied 1-1 after their first leg in the Conference League, and won that game. I think it was 4-0. I think something, and I was like, West Ham just shot their shot.
Yeah.
This week, and then all of a sudden, fucking, they thought they were Newcastle. Came out and just absolutely trounced Bournemouth.
Yeah, and that was at Bournemouth as well. So
Oh, yeah.
surprising from the Cherries because they seem to have kind of locked down the Vitality as a fortress for them to keep that. So it's been what's honestly been keeping them up is the latest results at home.
Yep.
You know, could think of Liverpool and you think of Fulham. Like, so to see them kind of slip like this was a bit of a surprise. Maybe they were looking past it. Maybe they were like, okay, well, we're probably safe. Well, you're probably safe, but do that again and you're not.
No, yeah,
Like,
absolutely. You could be dragged right back into it. It's not like they were 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points clear. You know, they were 4 points clear or whatever it was. Like,
Yeah.
that's 2 results.
And the
You
beauty,
got to be fucking careful there.
and the beauty of the ferryman, of course, is he's got to take you across the river Styx. So maybe he shakes the boat a little bit to maybe make you think you're going to fall in and it's all over, you know, and then he steadies it and everything's okay.
Everything's
That
fine.
is exactly what the fuck this season has been for West Ham.
100%. And he's fucking ferried his way right into a 2-year extension, I'd imagine.
Oh, God, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how it's happening.
And
Pablo Fornals, what do we think about the Scorpion? Some people aren't describing it as a Scorpion. They're saying it's not quite it.
It's
What
a
do you think?
scorpion.
You think it's
know
a
what?
scorpion?
You could pull, just being able to pull that one off, that's a scorpion for me.
Not as pretty as Giroud's, obviously. Giroud made like full-fledged contact with the ball. This was just kind of more like, it's not flying, it's falling with style.
Not as good as
Like, it wasn't as good a contact as it could have been. It was kind of the outside of the boot,
yeah.
but it redirected it in a manner that Neto was just frozen.
Yeah.
He'd
Oh,
already
yeah.
shifted his body weight. You know, everybody does that kind
Yeah,
of
you
little
know where it's
jump,
going.
getting ready
Yeah.
to do, and then
Yeah, it's a little jump step.
and then he just froze.
Yeah, because you're expected to go one way
course.
and then suddenly the ball's going the other.
Yeah.
All you could do is probably fall the way you initially were going and go, oh, look at that.
Look
going
at
to the back of that.
Yeah,
Watch
exactly
that going.
right.
The other great Scorpion was your boy at Arsenal in the World Cup against Spain. He did that. Remember, Casillas was coming out. The one where Netherlands beat the shit out of them like 4-0 in the opening round, the year after they had won it.
Okay.
The one, and he did a little.
He was the Spanish player?
No. It was the Dutch player. Played for you and played for United. Won the
Robin Van Persie?
Yeah. He did that against Casillas in the World Cup as well.
I liked his flying header was the one I always remember from him. That
Yep.
was off that 40-yard ball.
Oh, and by the way, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Oh, yay. We have a Manchester derby in the FA Cup final.
I could not be any less excited for this.
Here's the sad part. We should be excited because it's a derby in the final, right? Like that's a big fucking deal. There's not normally derbies in the final, and it's like, it's either City about to win a treble or fucking United winning a cup they don't deserve.
They don't deserve, yep.
Like you're like
They've sputtered and spat their way to this final, too.
oh yeah, because
They have not played well, particularly. Every single match was at home for them, all competition until this game.
until Fulham self-destructed. Fulham was out fucking playing them, right? And in this match, the better opportunities were definitely for Brighton.
100%.
I mean, give credit. Like Shaw and Lindelof played a very good match in
I
the
feel
center.
terrible for Sully Martin.
Yeah. Just, you
I
know,
feel terrible for Sully Martin.
it's what it is. It's unfortunate. Let's face it, we were all rooting for the Seagulls to be the ones in the final, but if you don't get it figured out before the first 90, the odds just go up for a team like United,
Yep.
man. They figure out a way to win that kind of shit. That's just how it's the aura of Fergie looking over them. It works every fucking time.
It's annoying.
It works every.
I hate
How
them
are we
so much?
How are we not surprised?
They've now equaled Arsenal's record as well. This will be their 21st FA Cup final.
But
they're still 2 away from equaling the actual title record. Thank you very much.
And this leaves you with the following dilemma, which I'm sure you
I won't
hate.
win a trophy, and they will.
Yeah,
And it's annoying.
And they either tie your FA Cup record, right? They'd be tied with you.
No. They'd be one less.
One
they have
less,
19.
okay.
We have 21, I think.
Okay, got it. Because
No. I'm sorry. We have 14. I think they have 12.
Yeah,
Something like that. I think we're up on them by 2.
and or it's City is locking up the second leg of a treble.
Fucking it's so
Because they'll
annoying.
still have the Champions League
But
to
you
play.
see the way in which they shrugged Bayern Munich apart. I don't see them having an issue with United here in this final. I think City are just it's gonna be boring, it's gonna be clinical, and they're gonna walk out 3-1 or 4-1 winners. And yay, Manchester City, yay, oil money, blah 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 fucking blah.
Sure money.
I don't care anymore. I just don't fucking care anymore.
Got it.
I'm down $3,100 now. I just don't fucking care anymore. All right. Yeah. So I wrote, I'd like to not blame it on Arsenal again, so I'm blaming Villa this week.
Very
That's
good.
my cup of losers.
Excellent.
Over to you, kind sir.
All right. Well, mine says Villa gives firm handshakes. Because everybody assumes Villa fucks. No, just a good, solid handshake. One of those ones with a little pat on the side of the arm. That's kind of how it works for them. Well,
You could have wrote a lot of things there.
Fulham, Fulhamish, and Villa fucked me.
Yeah.
And I am down $1,475.
Big Sam's Lock of the Week.
Mr. Graham, did you know 13.3% of the time it works 100% of the time, which is more than you. In fact, 4 more times than you, which is great. Time to go back to the bit. I got odds. Give me the Reds to beat West Ham and over 3.5 goals at plus 354. And that's total goals, not just Liverpool. I see at least 3-1. I see 4 goals out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
That's not a bad shout.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah. It's 2.5 still gave me no odds. Like I was doing win 165. So I went to 3.5 and it bumped me up to 350. So,
Right.
Okay. That's where I'm going.
There you go.
Excellent.
See how it goes. So we don't have Pat this evening. So I gotta read it out.
And now, it's time for our degenerate gambling friend Pat's Pick of the Week.
Well, I lost again, so down to 1,600, but that's all right, because you know what we have this week? Midweek matches, and oh boy, do we have a big one. Graham read with enthusiasm. That's right! In one corner, Manchester City, and in the other corner, the current leader in points, and hanging on for dear life, Arsenal. This could be the defining moment in the season, ladies and gentlemen. So, let's make a season-defining bet. I'll wager $1,800 on Manchester City at minus 180 to win $1,000.
Wow.
This is the match I've been waiting for and the bet that's going to turn my financial losses around. Technically, we'll still be down $600, but that's fine.
He'll be ahead of me. He'll be back in the leader
I'll talk to you guys Thursday and sport on.
Sport on.
The fuck does that mean? It's weird.
It reminds me of the old ESPN commercials with
Yeah.
the sports desk. They had Carrot Top, and they were like, well, we needed to spice things up at the desk because they have Carrot Top pulling out all the props and everything. And the very, very end, when it just says, this is Sports Center, you hear in the background, woo! sports from Gary Top.
That's pretty good.
Best. Woo! Sports.
If you didn't say pube explosion or whatever it was at the front, then Woo Sports would be the title.
Offensive explosion.
That's
Thank
what it
you
was.
very much.
Sorry. Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
All right, so you're going 0 and 32,
I'm
31?
probably.
Okay, so what cockamamie shit do you have this time?
It's not cockamamie. It should be pretty straightforward, but
It'll be wrong.
as we've learned, nothing is straightforward. Palace to beat Wolves.
Yep, that's going to be a draw.
Yep. Villa to beat Fulham.
Fulham's going to win.
And Brighton to beat Forest, because the perfect tonic to a massive disappointment is playing Nottingham Forest. That will be the only one that comes through.
That'll be the only one that comes through.
Yeah. Plus 750 on that one.
Hey, that's
actually
not bad.
decent little odds.
That is decent odds.
Yeah, so I'll only be down double what you are then.
Wolves Palace is the big question mark, right? You know, I think that's one of those games. Whoever scores
And
first,
it's away.
Yeah, at
It's
Wolves.
at Wolves.
And Wolves has had a couple of. I mean, they've had a couple of disappointments, like that Leeds match at home, but they've also had some nice wins at home as well.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad, you know?
Yeah, and normally I've at least hit one or two by now. I've normally started clawing away at my deficit, so those last 2 weeks I do things that take me above you two.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just not happening this year.
You
It's
know,
not great.
you know who's hit more than 0 bets this year?
Who's that?
The fucking chicken.
Well, Kitty hit with Liverpool, just getting by Forest, so she sits at 15 and 16. So, this week, I gave Kitty the big match with City hosting Arsenal.
Ruh-roh, Graham.
Now, I could faintly hear an acoustic guitar with a soft, familiar rhythm. And then I started hearing the entire flock chirping, "Today is going to be the day." Oh, sorry, I didn't know what today we're going with. Today is going to be the day that they're going to throw it back to you.
Yeah.
Oasis.
I guess she assumed that like Billy Corgan of Smashing Pumpkins is a fucking is a City supporter. Come on, it's been a continued bit. Who the fuck supports City?
Noel Gallagher. Or is it Liam?
Both, but go ahead, Mel.
They haven't spoken in 10
she's-
years.
She's all her face looks confused. This is great. Go ahead, keep reading.
Now, I couldn't see clearly, but I'm pretty sure it was Noel Gallagher
Is the rain gone? I couldn't
that was
see clearly.
playing the guitar up at the coop.
Yeah, you know what? He could fit in that. I mean, he's a tall lad, but it's a high coupe. He could fit in there.
He's probably high himself, too.
Yeah, it only took you 5 times. Well done. I'm an excellent
Best cold reader in the business.
No doubt about it.
Today is going to be the day. They could go a couple different
Today
directions.
is gonna be the day that I'm gonna throw it back to you.
Come
Right
on.
now, let's try it again. Sing it again. Sing it again.
No,
Sing it again. No, seriously, one more time. Sing it again.
Today
is gonna be the greatest day of my life. See, it can go both ways.
No, it cannot go
That's
both
not
ways.
the tune of that
You
song.
just keep it. You
So,
keep telling yourself what you gotta tell yourself.
Clearly,
Clearly,
Kitty
this was a
is
fucking shit segment.
picking.
Fucking hell.
I forgot who she was picking away. I forgot my name. Clearly, Kitty is picking City to beat Arsenal. Do you know what's not so clear?
Yeah, reading clearly by
I wish
you.
I could stop talking to you like Liam did to Noel.
That
Fucking hell, that was painful.
it's just not clear that either one of you are remembering to gamble legally and responsibly.
Championship corner!
I've fallen and I can't get up. Oh no!
Somebody's not being able to read clearly and legibly.
You didn't buy me enough time.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I'll buy you more time. Hey, Burnley, how does it feel when people at the bottom of the table fucking accuse you of shit? Not fun, huh? Not fun at all, huh? How's that taste? Fucking yeah.
Fucking yeah. Fucking guys.
Reading apparently put in a formal charge to the league to no, it was Huddersfield Town who put in a formal charge
That
to the
there was
league.
an unfair amount of shade on the field because of Vincent Kompany's big ass head.
Exactly. That and that Burnley wasn't trying against Huddersfield Town, and that draw helped Huddersfield in the relegation battle, and
But
that they were doing it for betting purposes is exactly what they said they were doing. That's the charge that was made, but it's like,
I don't think they really care. Yeah. All right, so we're not going to do the midweek stuff because that'd be too much to read. So on the weekend, Blackpool beat Birmingham 1-0, Bristol City 2-1 over Rotherham. QPR did beat Burnley 2-1. Cardiff and Stoke drew 1-1, which I'm sure was an entertaining match. Coventry 2-1 over Reading. They're so bad, Reading. They're so fucking bad. Hull 1-0 over Watford. Swansea 3-0 over Norwich. Notch. Wigan 2-1 over Millwall. Good, keep them down. Preston North End 1-1 with Blackburn. Sunderland beat West Brom 2-1. And then this afternoon, Luton beat Middlesbrough 1-0. That is going to leave your table something like this.
That's a big one in the playoff hunt.
Burnley are still top on 92 points with a plus 47 goal differential. Sheffield United are on 82 points, but they do have a game in hand. I doubt they'll be catching them. One thing we do know for sure is that Burnley is definitely promoted.
Yes.
They just aren't confirmed champions just yet. Luton Town is in third on 78 points with a plus 18. It would be really nice to get some new blood up in the Premier League.
Them
and I would
flip-flopping with Middlesbrough.
Yeah, I would really like to see them do something. Middlesbrough has 74 points on the same number of games as Luton, and a plus 29 goal differential. So they do have a much better goal differential. So they could flip-flop again before the end of the season, but they are on a maximum 44 games played, which is kind of big time. So that only leaves them a possibility of, I think, 12 points left, which is not going to be enough to catch either one of the other two clubs, I don't think, honestly. But Luton are only 4 points behind Sheffield United, but Sheffield United have only played 42 games. So we'll see what happens in that kind of race for the other automatic promotion spot.
No offense to the Blades, but I'd love to see Luton get that spot.
So would I. Absolutely.
Great. You want to see some new,
100%.
like you said, new blood.
100%. Coventry find themselves in 5th place on 66 points. I wouldn't mind Coventry coming up, to be honest with you. And Sunderland in 6th on 65. I wouldn't mind seeing them come up.
Yeah, well, especially because they went all the way down. And
Millwall in 7th, also on 65 points, and Blackburn in 8th, also on 65 points. You then have now Blackburn, West Brom in 9th on 63, and Preston North End in 10th on 63. So there's a lot of teams that can still get in. Norwich are in 11th on 62.
Yeah.
So Sunderland has got to watch their back, especially because West Brom, who is on 63 points in 9th place, and Blackburn in 8th, 65 points in 8th place, both do have a game in hand on Sunderland.
Yeah, but something to keep in mind with Blackburn. Blackburn was at 1 point 3rd place, and they have been dropping like a stone.
Yeah, and they're the only. No, I'm sorry, Preston also. Those are the only two teams in the top half of the table that have a negative goal differential.
Yeah, exactly.
But them having those games in hand, there is the potential to leapfrog, and then Sunderland doesn't even get a playoff spot. So there's not a lot of time left. Now there's only about 1,015 games left in the championship. So before the end of the season.
In defense to Sunderland, too, they just got promoted back up to the championship. So if they don't make it, it's not the end of the world. You're making the natural progression you need to make to get back up. So you don't want what you don't want to have happen
is come up too soon, spend too much money, and you're fucked again.
Have exactly what just happened to you the last time and watch you drop back down to League One quickly and then be stuck in League One for 3 fucking seasons.
Another fucking 20 years. Yeah.
Right.
It's
Precisely.
not been 20 years, but you get my point.
Yeah.
At the bottom of the table, Wigan are all but doomed on 40 points with a maximum of 44 games played. Blackpool in 23rd on 41 points with the max games. Reading on 43 points, also with the max games. All of them have worse goal differentials than the 3 teams ahead of them.
Yeah.
Huddersfield Town are now out of the relegation zone on 44 points, but a minus 19. Reading's at a minus 20. Blackpool's at a minus 24. So they one heavy loss, and the goal differential debate could be thrown back up in the air there.
Reading's like Barnsley. That's one of those teams who I can't remember the last time they were in League One.
Yeah.
They've always been Championship or Premier League. Always.
Now, here's the other
90s.
problem. Cardiff in 20th on 46 points and Huddersfield in 21st on 44 points. Both of them have only played 43 games. Rotherham in 19th on 46 points have only played 43 games. So they each have a game in hand on the bottom three and can further distance themselves from those teams. So they're going to need 2 results to go their way. Their games in hand to be dropped, as well as another result if they are going to try to overthrow this deficit. It is intense.
Something
down
to
there.
keep in mind,
It is.
too.
It is sex while camping down there. Fucking intense. Yeah, get in.
Now, if you were gonna dad joke that, it would be like it's like making whoopee while camping.
Making whoopee.
It's because you wouldn't say fucking because it's a dad joke.
Making whoopee.
Yeah, exactly. Now
I like using old slang words for various things.
Yeah, making whoopee is a great one.
Making whoopee is good.
A quality one. Now, something to keep in mind with the championship is the championship in League One normally not like the Prem where 1 or 2 teams stay promoted, right? And they may go down the very next year, but typically those 3 teams that come up in the Premier League, not all 3 go down. Someone sticks around. A lot of times 2 of them stick around, right?
Yep. Well, because there's so many other teams that have inherent issues.
League One in the championship, typically the 3 teams that go up from League One promptly go right the fuck back down. And Rotherham might be able to escape that this time because it was Rotherham, Blackpool and Wigan who all came up, and they might sneak it out. They might stay up, man.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It's going to be a very interesting next couple of weeks for the old championship.
Agreed. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up, boys and girls. Sam, any parting words?
Yeah, so have you heard Daniel Levy's, I alluded to this right after the first break. Have you heard Daniel Levy's kind of part of his plan to keep Harry Kane, get him to sign a new contract?
No.
He's going to offer him a statue outside the stadium. Problem is, he's your all-time leading goal scorer. He's the only person in recent history who's done anything of note for your team.
You're building that statue already the minute he retires.
The statue already exists. Unless he signs for Arsenal when his contract's over, or Chelsea if Poch goes there. Also a very funny thing. Chelsea are in advanced talks with Mauricio Pochettino, apparently.
Wow.
And all Tottenham want is to have him back.
Yeah.
It could not have been a worse week for Tottenham.
It's such a fucking joke, man.
And it's the weekend in which St. Totteringham's Day gets celebrated for the first time in 7 years.
Yeah, been a while there, Killer.
I love it.
Been a while.
I love everything about it.
All right. Hey, Melissa, anything from the gallery of gaggle of geese?
A lot
The
of
gallery
comments.
of peanuts.
A lot of comments about Graham's hair and a lot of comparisons as to what Graham's hair looks like.
All
We
right,
get
go
that
ahead.
quite a bit.
Hit me with 2 of them.
One of them was from Spaceballs, John Candy's character.
Yes.
All right.
I'm
That's,
half dog, half man. I'm my own best friend.
That's the great one.
Yeah, it's a reference for the kids.
Keith Kern said Graham doesn't sound bitter at all about City.
No, not one bit.
Ronnie, watching on YouTube, says Man United should just win the rest of their games. And Nicole, well, I don't...
Sounds exactly like a fucking mank.
Nicole, I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now.
Aw, thank you, Cole. That's very sweet of you. At least she got
Do you get the reference yet?
I just sang it in the tune, so yeah.
If only you sang the first one in the tune, we would have had a much better
The
segment.
actual song that it was? Yeah.
You know what?
I also have
Wednesday, I got jokes.
Just so everyone knows, too, if you can't see, I do have on my St. Totteringham's Day shirt. It says, it's supposed to be like the Dos Equis guy, and it says, I don't often hate, but when I do, it's Tottenham Hotspur.
Very good.
And then on the back, it says, stay victorious, my friends.
Excellent. Thank you. Well done. The problem is it would be stay drawing, my friends, currently right now for you guys. Thanks so much.
Bring it back
Yeah, well, because, if you're going to kick me when I'm down, I got to kick you when you're down. That's
If I
just
kicked you when you're down, you die, though.
That's how this works. It depends on where you kick me. In the chest, yes, definitely. Like in
If
the
I
legs,
kicked you in the groin, I'd slide right off now.
yeah, exactly. Actually, the balls would hurt your foot. Your foot would be broken. Thanks so much for
Fucking
joining us,
hell.
boys and girls. Next up is Injury Time. That's where we're going to talk about our adopted clubs, the beers we were drinking. We're going to check in on fantasy, which is the bottom of the
Apparently.
table is constantly changing, along with the names.
Also, apparently Taylor's name. I got to tell you a funny joke too.
She didn't find it too humorous. She was like,
really?
nah, not going to laugh at it. His response was, well, this is what she's going to get to deal with next year when I'm down there with her.
Brody said that he missed the early whiskey segment because he wanted to know what to drink to celebrate his doo-doo 1 win.
Oh, that's right. He's getting close. He's going to be probably the one taking the bottle. I assume it's going to be the bottle of Middleton's, the really expensive hard one to come by. So we better make sure that night
We have one more to.
we have a couple more in there. Get that sucker down a little. And should one want to find injury? Oh, and we preview the weekend's action, the midweek's action. Then we'll do another show where we preview the weekend's action
we
because
will.
we're on double duty this week.
In the month too. Fuck.
Should one want to find Injury Time, Sam? How do they go about doing that?
Pretty easy, actually. It's www.patreon.com/DFootballShow and sign up to that $5 tier where you get both of our extra shows. That includes the one Injury Time Sam just talked about, but also Sound Check, which is our actual sound check. Sometimes you don't get to hear us say a fucking word because Mel forgot to push the buttons or something.
Well, normally it's me who forgets to push the buttons when I was producing.
So push the button.
Push the button.
Push.
Push your little daisies and make them come up.
That's a song reference you definitely won't
I
get.
could push your mute button.
So definitely check that out. It's a lot of fun. We usually catch up from the weekend. You get to learn various things about us that you probably don't want to know but are interesting. And then we make fun of each other for things we shouldn't because it's very dark.
Excellent. Till next week, everybody.
Good night.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston.
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Smell the Malört. Looks great in shorts. Sam Grammy.
Sam Graham.
Brooklyn United! Brooklyn United! Hit the fucking mute button!